Time for the 35th and final race of the weekend. Rotax Max Belgium back in action with the Senior Rotax final. 18 drivers set to start this race. Stain Peters looks to be a non-starter once again, having not broken the timing beam. But here is the starting order. Jaden Teen will start from pole position. Vic Stevens will be alongside. Matty Sterlo and Lawrence Herbos, 390 and 398 round out row 2, ahead of Neil Hendricks and Ollie Yonkers in the 326 and the 316 rounding out row 3. Row 4 is the 394 of Sebastian Koch, with Ruben Verheyen in the number 348 rounding out the top 4 rows. Kevin Navis and Sam Bergstein in the numbers 306 and 319 round out the top 10, with the 321 of Martin Gaiskens, Scott Westhovens in the 353, Kenneth van Markerke in the 330, the 389 of Lex Quintens, Rein van der Meer, Luca Prima, Giorgio Markenstein and Sverre Ubben in the the 332, the 358 and 328 and 344 round out the 18 strong grid. Stain Peters is a non-starter that has been officially confirmed by live timing. So Jaden Teen has been at the sharp end of the field all the way through the weekend. No surprise, the 359 has been on an absolute mission this season to be one of the best out there in the Benelux region for Senior Rotax. Also has represented Team Netherlands, the Dutch Lions, on a multitude of occasions and hit the podium in Bahrain a couple of years ago as a junior. Oh, was there a little bit of a wheel contact? There was, I think, between him and Vic Stevens. But into the tram lines we go. Oh, false start. Yeah, there's a little bit of a contact there. Jaden Teen and Vic Stevens flashing wheels coming into the final corner. So, race director Martin Liner saying, no, that is not happening. You're going round again. But Jaden Teen has been the person to beat this weekend so far. Vic Stevens, Matthijs Turlo, Lawrence Herbos, Neil Hendricks, and Ollie Yonkers have been close, but not close enough. So the first and I think only full start of the weekend happens on the last race. But let's just hope that Jaden Teen... Oh, second time. Thank you, Sebastian. I'm trying to remember which the other one was. It was probably earlier on in the weekend. However, into the tram lines we go. Red lights on the gantry. Revs rise, lights are out. And, well, not at all a surprise. Jaden Teen just absolutely rocketed away ahead of everybody else as everyone's going to dive into turn 2 for the first time. Matty Solo has made his way up into turn 2 in second place. He's going to hopefully make that move by turn 3. So we've got one off at turn 3, one stationary in the middle of the circuit. Now, who is the driver? I'm just waiting for them to come through. Well, I was just waiting for them to come through. It was a Tony Kart livery that I did spot as Jaden Teen makes his way through into Mudkjava for the first time. And it is, well, it's not Vic Stevens. He's currently P3 behind Matthijs Turlo. So the field comes across the line to complete the opening lap. Jaden Teen leads the way. Matthijs Turlo in second. And, oh, well, Neil Hendricks and Sebastian Koch were the two drivers involved in that carambolage at turn number 4. I think Sebastian, well, it was Neil Hendricks that might have come to a stop through at turn 4 and has not broken the timing beam. Neil Hendricks started 5th on the road, now is out on the opening lap of this race. Another driver that's had dramas in the opening lap of the main important race of the weekend. But Jaden Teen looking for a perfect score once again, like he did at round 2 at Marienborg earlier on this year. And that would have been as part of the Benefit League round 2 at Marienborg, which was also working in conjunction with the Dutch National Championship powered by Chrono Karting. But Jaden Teen, after the opening 2 laps, has a lead of nearly 1.3 seconds out of Matis Turlo. Vic Stevens rounds out the top 3. Ollie Yonkers now 4th. Martin Gaiskens has jumped from 11th on the grid after the opening 2 laps and now runs P5. Ahead of Ruben Verheyen, Kevin Navis, Lawrence Herbos. Kenneth van Moorkerke is now up 4 places from 13th on the grid and now runs 9th ahead of Sam Bergstein in the 319, who completes the top 10. Sverre Ubben is also on the move as well. Lawrence Herbos gets past Kevin Navis. Sam Bergstein gets past Kenneth van Moorkerke. Scott Westhovens has just dropped behind Giorgio Markenstein, Luca Bremer and Rein van der Meer, and has dropped down to 15th. Sverre Ubben at the moment is about 4 tenths, but well, he's ahead now of Kenneth van Moorkerke, might even be ahead of Sam Bergstein. So the 344 from GKS Lemons Power, representing Belgium, is on a bit of a tear at the moment up the field and trying to scythe his way through. Jaden Teen comfortably holding on to an easy lead at the moment. And I just spotted Sverre Ubben, who is behind the 330 of Kenneth van Moorkerke. That is for 10th place. And we're not even a third of the way through the race. We're about 45 seconds away from that happening. Behind Martin Gaiskens, Lawrence Herbos was trying to get through on Ruben Verheyen through at turn number 3. But that did not quite work out. So with just under 8.5 minutes to go, plus an additional lap, still plenty of unpredictability in the offing here at Car Club Kerpen at the F-Landring, but Jaden Teen holding on to a lead of around about a second. Turlo making another return back to the track, as opposed to being a mechanic for SR Solutions. Vic Stevens in P3, Ollie Yonkers. And now Sverre Ubben hits the top 10, getting past Kenneth van Moorkerke. And now has a small gap between himself and Sam Bergstein, which is about 6.5 tenths of a second, as the field makes its way through into turn number 5, down into the slight right-hand kink at 6, into 7, 8 and 9 before coming up the hill. And, well, Sebastian Koch has just been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That was the incident involving Miel Hendricks. And Sebastian Koch started down in 7th place. Miel Hendricks was 5th. But Jaden Teen finding his lead being slightly truncated as Matis Turlo sets the new fastest lap of the race. 45.074 by the 390, who's now up from 3rd to 2nd and is trying to chase down the current race leader. Lex Quintons, in the meantime, gets through on Scott Westhovens for 15th. So 17 runners and riders still circulating. And another new fastest lap. This time it's gone to Vic Stevens. 45.070, 4 1,000ths quicker on that particular occasion in comparison with Matis Turlo, number 390 from the Netherlands, who is still trying to close on in to Jaden Teen. Jaden Teen just set his fastest lap of the race of 45.269. Matis Turlo's last lap, a 45.1. So starting to catch and has got that gap down to just under 6.5 tenths of a second. So Turlo just calmly getting on with the business at hand, trying to close in onto Jaden Teen. Vic Stevens and Ollie Yonkers, the top 4, covered by 1.9 seconds. Yonkers sets the personal best. Teen sets the personal best. But no one still yet to go better than Vic Stevens, 45.070. But Martin Gaiskens has got to find about 1.8 seconds at the moment, and the reason being is that Gaiskens is a couple of positions away from the top 3. Top 3 will get trophies at the end of the race meeting. But with Jaden Teen still having a half-second advantage over Matti Sturlo, Vic Stevens, Ollie Yonkers, about 6/10 away from a possible podium slot in the dying stages of this race. We're now over we've basically got about 5 minutes to go. So 7 minutes completed, 4 minutes and 40 still to go on the timer, plus an additional lap. The margins between drivers in the top four are starting to close even more. More importantly, that seems to be happening between Turlo in second, Teen in first, and then between Yonkers, who's behind Stevens, in the greater running of things. Under half a second goes the gap now as Ollie Yonkers punches in a sub 45, a 44.984, and Vic Stevens just did a 45.157. So Yonkers is closing on in to the number 327 for third place. So still the drivers carry on, and Sverre Ubben makes his way past Sam Bergstein in the meantime. Up to ninth place goes the 344 from Belgium. As Turlu again just chipping away, took over a 10th or a 0.14 of a second out of Jaden Teen's lead, bringing it down to 0.335 after 11 laps. We're on lap number 12. And Turlo, I think, might be getting closer to that point where he now has a definitive opportunity. Jaden Teen has not been beaten on track since the final at the season opener at Karting Genk earlier on this year. So lap 12 completed. Gap now under 2.5 tenths. Turlo is closing under braking at every single corner. Yonkers now within striking distance of Vic Stevens for third place on the road. Through into turn 5, go the top four. Battle for fifth, really heating up between Lawrence Herboz, Martin Geiskens and Ruben Verheyen. Geiskens started 11th, now runs a genuine 6th on pace. Sverre Ubben is close to getting past Kevin Navis for 8th place in the meantime. Ubben started from the back end of the field and is now 1 place away from making up 10 spots. Now, with a kart length between the two leaders, Mattis Turlo now has to go for the race lead. He's going to try and look to the inside, and Turlo gets through on lap number 14 on Jaden Teen. Now the race really begins. With 2 minutes to go, Jaden Teen fires a warning shot up the inside, retakes the lead at turn 5. Great close racing between the two leaders as Vic Stevens and Ollie Yonkers are line astern coming up towards Mudkurva and then into the Michael Schumacher S's. So out of the final corner, it's going to be 3 laps to go. Jaden Teen now defends. He goes to the inside. Turlo switches to the outside to see if he can get the crossover through into turn 2. Doesn't work for the 390, but Jaden Teen holding his nerve, but looks to have got a little bit wide out of turn number 5, and Turlo's gotten back through. And now Jaden Teen is in danger of not only, well, he's lost a lot of ground. Lost a lot of ground to Mattis Turlo. So we're going to go on to the penultimate lap. We're on lap 15 out of 17. But more to the point, Mattis Turlo is going to bring us on to the penultimate lap as the new race leader. Jaden Teen now having to defend from Vic Stevens. Up until this point, Jaden Teen, as I said, has not lost a single victory since the final at Genk at the opening round. Won everything at Marienborg, was on course to do the same here, but one slight spanner in the works, and it's the driver that is striding away. Mattis Turlo now has a clear gap that's going to be north of at least 5.5 tenths of a second. One more lap to go, not just for this final, but for the race meeting here in Kerpen. 7 tenths is the gap between Turlo and Teen, and Stephen dives up the inside and he outshoots the braking zone, and Ollie Yonkers gets through on Jaden Teen heading onto the final lap. What a development. Stevens went for the Danny Rick dive bomb, outbraked himself, ran deep. Yonkers was there to pounce and made good his intentions. But what a dramatic way to end the race weekend here at Kerpen. It's going to come down to the line for second position, but there's going to be, rest assured, one driver that is going to take the win out of the final corner. It's a win for SR Solutions and Mattis Turlo. Jaden Teen's going to take second. Ollie Yonkers hits the podium in P3. Vic Stevens fourth. Lawrence Herbo's fifth. Martin Geisken sixth. Head of Ruben Verheyen. And well done to Sverre Ubben, rounding out the top 8 after 10 places gained. Kevin Navis and Sam Bergstein round out the top 10. Kenneth van Monkerker, Luca Brima, Sebastian Koch, who's been adjusted on time due to a 5-second penalty for a collision with Miel Hendricks on the opening lap. Giorgio Markenstein, Lex Quintons, Scott Westovens, Rein van der Meer round out the 17 finishers after 17 laps. Miel Hendricks unfortunately retires on lap 1, but Mattis Turlo breaks Jaden Teen's winning streak, and Ollie Yonkers finishes behind the number 359 to round out the podium with a very exciting finish to round out 35 races here at the Erflandring in Kerpen. For round 4 of RMC Germany and round 3 of RMC Belgium.
An dieser Stelle bleibt uns gar nicht mehr so viel zu sagen am heutigen Sonntag.
Das stimmt doch, mein Freund. 35 Rennen? Was willst du mehr? Ne?
Mehr erzählen geht nicht. Also ich glaube, alle Wörter sind jetzt aufgebraucht.
Ja.
Und deswegen sagen wir vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen, vielen Dank fürs Zuhören am heutigen Sonntag und freuen uns dann schon in 4 Wochen auf das Saisonfinale der RMC Germany.
Bei Arena E in Mülsen in Ostdeutschland. Dankjewel, dames and heren. Thank you very much to everyone from RMC Belgium that has been watching the stream at home. Of course, the final round for that will be 3 weeks later. 21st and the 22nd of September, being hosted at the Home of Champions Karting Genk. But once again, a pleasure working alongside you, Sebastian, as always.
Thank you.
A big thank you to our marshalling crew who have braved the elements, as in the very hot and very abrasive sunshine. A big thank you to race control, timekeeping, steward panel, race direction, scrutineering, park for May, tyre bays as well, for not just RMC Germany, but also for RMC Belgium, organisation, administration, all the teams, drivers, families, support networks, and of course to everyone watching on the RMC Germany stream. Das war's für heute, das war's für dieses Wochenende. Das Saisonfinale bei RMC Germany 2024 findet statt am 7. und 8. September in Ostdeutschland, in die Nähe von Zwickau, nämlich an Arena E in Mülsen. So, vielen lieben Dank, unsere Zuschauer, und bis zum nächsten Mal.
Ciao.